Hey everybody, it's time for the trailer crawler. We're going to take a look at the games that are coming out for the week of April 25th, 2010. And there's just a ton of stuff to cover, a lot of games that look interesting, so we're just going to hop right to it. First up is Super Street Fighter 4 for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The original Street Fighter 4 dropped last year and it was an excellent game. It was essentially a remake of Street Fighter 2 as it built upon that exact foundation, but there is no problem with that at all because Street Fighter 2 was great. Street Fighter 4 is extremely fun and it's not too overwhelming either, unlike most of the other good fighting games that come out lately. It does not take like 6 hours in order to actually play against someone. Street Fighter 4 adds a bunch of new characters, finally rounding things out a bit to make the game feel more or less not like a remake anymore and more of its own thing. We get T-Hawk, DJ, Adon, Cody, Guy, Dudley, Ibuki, and Makoto this time. I'm especially looking forward to the online tournament mode, which should be a lot of fun, which I guess won't be shipping with the game, but it will be available next month and they won't be having an extra charge. I already have this game pre-ordered, so I'll definitely be picking this up. Second is NIER for the 360 and PlayStation 3. If you've been following this game, it can be a little confusing as to what this actually is. Two NIER games were originally announced for Japan to be released on the same day. They are NIER Replicant for the PlayStation 3 and NIER Gestalt for the Xbox 360. These two games are mostly the same game, except they feature different main characters and they have their own unique relation to the overall plot. I'm sure there's a few other differences as well. The PlayStation 3's version main character looks like he fell out of a Final Fantasy game, while the 360 has a more Americanized style of hero. The US release will be consisting of only what was known as NIER Gestalt in Japan, the Americanized version. And it will just be released as NIER here. This version is being released on both consoles with no sign of NIER Replicant yet. There's nothing that's been announced yet, although I imagine if this game does good, we'll eventually get that one over here. It's really up in the air if this game will definitely be worth playing. It's a Square Enix published game that was developed by Cavia. And Cavia is known as a bit of a workhorse company in Japan that does not always put, soul into their games. They basically just develop what they're told to, although they are also responsible for Drakengard. Drakengard was a mess of a game, and it was rather tedious, and I just did not like that very much. But it is known for having a rather out there storyline that's kind of weird if you can actually bring yourself to play through it. NIER has been getting the same kind of buzz, although overall the buzz has been a little bit more positive. It's a bit of a brawler light, at least that's what I've seen some people refer to it as, and it has a decent script, but there's apparently a few problems that crop up that keep this game from being great. I'd like to check this out eventually, but I do recommend being cautious. Third is Record of Agarest War for the 360 and PlayStation 3. Agarest War is a tactical RPG developed by Compile Heart, who was also responsible for last year's Cross Edge. They develop budget games that focus a lot on art style that tend to have cheesy, tongue-in-cheek anime scripts. It looks like this game will have the exact same mood once again. And just like many of the other games released by this company, you can craft things, synthesize, and there's just a lot of background stuff that you can play with. I have no idea what the story is about, and no one seems to really care about it either. The Japanese version has been getting mixed reviews, and I guess there's a lot of grinding to be done here. It'll probably be at least okay for people who love these games, although not for anyone else, or everyone else. Fourth is Dead to Rights Retribution for the 360 and PlayStation 3. Dead to Rights is a stylized third-person shooter with a lot of fast action where you're dipping in and out and popping enemies and slowed down bullet time and all that fun stuff. Sounds pretty cool to me, and it doesn't really seem to take itself too seriously. The original Dead to Rights was a flawed release that no one really cared for, but this one looks like it could be at least average and worth a rental. It's a generic game, but it could be fun. 5th is Lead and Gold Gangs of the Wild West for the PlayStation 3, and I really do not care about this game at all. I know this is pretty much the same thing as the last game, except it's, goofball Wild West shooting instead, but it just looks sloppy and uninteresting. There's some multiplayer stuff to fool around with, which I guess would be cool if you just love these games, but I just do not care, so I do not feel like talking any further. 6th is Kick-Ass for the PlayStation 3's PlayStation Network. Yep, a budget movie game exclusive to the PSN. Whatever. Despite the movie being very cool, this just does not look good. It's a Marvel Ultimate Alliance clone with some multiplayer to mix things up, which might be fun if you have a full house of friends with nothing at all to do, but this just is said to be very dry and boring, and that's exactly how it looks. 7th is Tecmo Bowl Throwback for the Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network. That's neat, I guess. Tecmo Bowl attempts to recapture a more simple time when football games were pick up and play and anyone could handle them and you didn't really even need to know the rules of football. I actually enjoyed the original NES version a long time ago, like 7 decades ago. And there's just nothing wrong with this style of play, so it might be good if you're looking to relive that nostalgia. 8th is Harvest Moon Hero of Leaf Valley for the PSP. My god, does it seem like these Harvest Moon games are just coming out like every other month, and at least on some system. There's always one right around the corner. No one ever talks about them, but they're always there, so apparently they make money. I guess in this game you'll be milking the cows and marrying chicks just as usual. I really don't care, but perhaps you will. I mean, these games aren't said to be bad, just for their own unique audience. Very unique and special, yeah. Alrighty then, that is a lot of games to check out. I'll definitely be picking up Super Street Fighter 4, NIER. I'm interested. It might be a significant game in some regard, but it does not strike me as being amazing, but we'll see. And then Record of Agarest War. If this was like the middle of a time when nothing was coming out, I would probably check it out for sure, but I don't think I'll have the time, to be honest, to check this out, but maybe eventually. We'll see. And Dead to Rights, maybe if I get around to it, I'll give it a rental if I have the time. But anyways, what games are you guys looking forward to, and what are you guys playing? I'm actually I actually just finished up Fragile Dreams last night. It was for the Wii. An RPG game. It started off very, very good with just a lot of great atmosphere, but then got so dull towards the end, where you're just wandering down corridor after corridor that looks exactly the same with barely any actual gameplay. And it's like, come on, just pick up already. The story just took a backseat, and I was not that happy with it. Although the game is a unique experience, and it's the sort of thing where it wasn't that enjoyable, but for whatever reason, you're still thinking about it once you're done. So I'll have a review of that eventually. And I've also been playing a little bit of Sonic and Sega's All-Star Racing, which is actually very fun. And eventually I'll have a review of that as well. So what are you guys playing? Let me know, and thanks for watching.